everyone. It's our last video. So I wanted to make a very quick video and I'm not going to be showing my screen because we're going to be going over the final exam. So I'm going to just go ahead and scroll through the questions on the final exam, and we will have a very thorough and comprehensive review. One thing that I did do for this exam, I cut almost half of the questions out of the exam. And the reason that I wanted to do that is because I really want everybody to succeed on this exam. I want it to kind of, be positioned to help your grade. And I also just want to say that it's been a really hard semester for everybody. And I don't feel necessarily great about giving you a really rigorous and difficult exam. So I wanted to kind of just like lighten it up for everyone, and create a situation where you, if you study and if you've participated in the course, you're likely to do well on this exam. So let's go ahead and get started. So as I said, I went ahead and let me move my. Hang on just a second. I gotta move myself around here. So as I said, I went ahead and I cut some questions from the exam. Some of those were lecture questions where maybe I had gone ahead and just only posted the slides. So as a general rule, all of the content for this exam will be only things that I've talked about in the various videos. So just kind of know that. I know that there was a video where I talked about Rhino in a sort of broader context, with sort of like in the context of other 3D modelers in general. There's a question about how Rhino kind of fits into that mix. So you may have recalled that it was actually in part of a Rhino demo video. There was a very short lecture about NURBS and 3D modeling. So those slides are going to be, used for a question. There's another question on the I guess broadly on this sort of like polygons versus NURBS issue that was talked about in that same lecture. There's one question on what sort of art is made with code. So there was an introduction lecture to art made with code, and there's a question about that. There are two questions that they give you a chunk of code, P5 code, and they ask you to basically fill in the blank on a certain part of the code. I'm going to tell you a secret. It's not really a secret because it's written right on the top of the question. You can cut and paste that code out, and you can put it into the P5 editor, and then you can solve the problem that way by just completing the code and getting it to do what it's supposed to do. So I always wonder when people clearly don't do that, because if you do cut and paste it into the P5 editor, you will be much more likely to succeed at answering that question. And that's the reason I suggest it actually in the question. So both of those questions are fill in the blank. One is a one-part question about mouse interaction, and one is a three-part question, so it's 3 points, about the iteration or the for loop. So that question just basically asks you, like, what are the 3 parts of a for loop? So there's also a couple of one question here. Let's see. Yeah, so there's one question on the hierarchy of form in Rhino, and I did talk about that briefly in the first demo video on Rhino, and I think I also went on to talk about it in the second demo video. So there's a certain like order to the objects in Rhino, and I'm looking for the answer to that. So I'm also looking for, again, in Rhino, what is something that defines a solid shape in Rhino? So we talked about that a couple of times at different points in the lecture. So it should be fairly, hopefully pretty straightforward to answer that. I also have, just kind of like finishing up here, there's also 3 identification questions about Rhino. And so you'll see a screenshot of me doing something in Rhino, and it'll ask you what was the creation method used to make this thing on the screen. And that's really, it's, again, they're all multiple choice except for the 2 fill in the blank ones. So you just pick from the list which method would have produced that result. And I think pretty much as I look through, there's 2 questions on object creation, which would be addressed in the first 2 demos. And then there's 1 question on lighting, and that question would of course be addressed in the video on lighting, which I believe is the 4th or 5th, I think the 4th demo video. So, and that's it, that's the final. So I'm hoping that you're all going to be really successful at it. And I think this is my last video to y'all, so I hope that you have learned some things in this class. I hope it was pleasant for you. I really hope that you go on to take other art classes and explore your creativity, because I think it's a gift that we all have inside of us, and it's something that we can use to communicate with the world. So it's kind of exciting. And also, man, I really hope that you all have a great holiday break. It's been quite an interesting time, and I'm really, really honored to have gone through some of this time with all of you. So one other quick thing about your grades is I know that we have the opportunity in this class to do extra credit. So I will be accepting extra credit efforts until the 16th. After that date, I'm not accepting any extra credit submissions. I also want you to know that I will grade your extra credit, but those points will not be reflected in your grade average. I actually have to do that manually. So if you have 3 extra credit points or 2 extra credit points and you don't see them in your grade, rest assured that I will add those 2 points to your average, and if it bumps you up to a different letter grade, that will be reflected in your final grade that gets posted to the registrar. So unfortunately in Canvas, there's no way to for me to assign actual extra credit points on your final grade. So I'm going to be doing those using an old-fashioned technology called a spreadsheet, and I'll be posting them to the registrar. When you get your final grades, if you think there's some sort of calculation error or, some big omission, data entry mistakes do happen in a large class. So feel free to let me know, and I'll take a look at it. And if there happens to be a mistake and it is in your favor, I will certainly, update your grade with the registrar. So thanks, everyone.